This video we're going to go over the properties panel window we're going to pop up. We're also going to go over some of the colors, the line weights, the line types. Do make sure that you are still in or you have opened up again your DWT template file, or whichever file it is you're going to do, even if it's a DWG that you're going to save later as your template file, that's fine. This is just a continuation of getting that template set up. So on the home ribbon, I have a properties panel right here. A few different items, match properties. We're not going to mess with that for a while. I've got these three bars here, which are shown or indicated by these icons here. This has to do with color, line weights, line types, and then of course I have drop down some property here, transparency. I'm not going to mess with that, but definitely something to notice is whether I drop it down or not, I've got a little diagonal arrow down here in the corner. And if I hover on that, notice it is the command at the bottom, all in caps or commands, properties. F1 for more help, that's just your help screen, which is the same thing you'd get it for typing up here on your info center. That is what I want you to do. Go ahead and click on this button. You should get somewhere on your screen this window here. And notice the title of the window is called Properties. Now, mine is set currently to Auto Hide, and that is here. If I want to just close this window, there's my close. If I type Properties, now notice I did open it here, and Properties is down here as if I typed it up or typed it in myself, which means my right-click customization should bring it up, and there it does. So again, I have close, I have an auto hide. Now I'll click this to keep it open. This means with it staying open, no matter what I'm doing out here, it's going to be open. Now, I have a dual monitor set up at home and in my other classroom, so I leave this window open constantly, but I have it on another screen. The purpose of the auto hide is so that if you have only a single monitor and you have it out here, you really don't want to take up much of your drawing area, your graphics windows, any more than necessary. So you can have this as an auto hide and therefore have as much drawing area as possible. Then when you need or want to reference it, you just hover over the bar here and there it is. And then we have some other property settings there on that button we're not going to get into. Another thing, grab this window. Now don't be surprised if this window is not on your right. It might be on your left. It might be at the top. The reason for that is because I can put this somewhere. Now pay attention to what happens to my screen when I get there. As I get into that left, or I'm sorry, that right side, notice it jumps to that entire window. And if I let go, there it is. Notice my view cube, nothing was blocked. Everything just kind of moves over. It also doesn't block the status bar down below. It's not in front of my ribbon here. And here, my properties, sorry, the window title, in this case being properties, as well as the auto hide, the close, is now at the top. And if I want to move this again, if I don't want it, this is called docked or docking. If I don't want it docked there, you need to grab that bar. And notice I can finally pull it off, and there it is. I can also bring it over here. Now currently the bar is on the right. If I bring it over to the left, notice it switches, and the reason for that is now this is kind of snapped or stuck to this left side, but if I go farther, there it is to dock, and my command line, everything pops over. And again, this is at the top. Even with it docked, you can have the auto hide feature on. Well, I can also come up here to the top. Oh, nope, it's not going to let me there. Must be a change. That I used to be able to dock it on any side, right, left, top, or bottom, but that's okay, no problem there. I am going to dock it on the right, and I am going to auto hide it. So again, just hover, it'll pop up. A lot of information here, a lot of information. When you have an item such as an object, a line, circle, whatever it may be, that information pops up here. So I'll go ahead and do a line. I'll do a polyline. I'll do a circle. I will do another circle that I'm going to end up trimming. So I now have an arc. Notice if you hover again, you get a little pop-up there. Shows the circle, the color, the layer, the line type. In this case, it's a circle. In this case, it's a polyline. And this is a line. That is now an arc. I can do a rectangle. And a rectangle is not a rectangle anymore. It is just a polyline. Or it is a rectangle until I change it. So this is a polyline. So on and so forth. I can even do some text. I'll do a single line text here. And hover. It is text. So let me unhide this. So it's always out here. So now I have nothing selected. So it's kind of set up as general. This general being, if anything, what your current settings are. What something's going to be the next time you start or execute something, next time you create something. And as far as the tabs, in this case, I have general, color, layer, line type, scale, line weight, transparency, thickness, and 3D visualization. We're not going to worry about. I can go ahead and collapse that. Now normally I don't have any of these collapsed, but so just disregard. The last thing you want is information to be here and you forget to expand it, and the information you're looking for is there. That can get to be kind of a pain. Plot style, view, miscellaneous, a lot of information. Honestly, not much there for me at all that I don't already have elsewhere. So in this case, select your line, and right up here it says, and there's a drop down, but that's all I have is a line. Okay, I have general, I have color, layer, line type, all of that same general information, but this is now specific to this line. If I were to have changed something, put this somewhere else, created it somewhere else, it would give me the information of that line here, not necessarily what my current settings are. Same with 3D visualization. Geometry is a common one we use. Start, end, XYZ, XYZ, delta, delta being the Greek letter delta, that refers to difference or change. So the distance from this point to here being the difference. These coordinates here, start and end, X, Y, and Z, are your absolute coordinates with respect to the origin. But your delta X, Y, Z would be the difference in X from here to here, from start to end. Vertical for the Y, since my UCS down here shows X and Y in that orientation. So X is left to right or horizontal, Y is currently vertical, and the Z, no surprise, is showing up as 0 because I'm not dealing with that Z axis. So now previously I talked about units, and this is a little bit tangent I'm going to jump off onto. Talked about units. We set up the units as decimal, and we messed with their precision. If you recall, the precision was 4 decimal places. Well, here you go. Everything is in 4 decimal places. It's also in decimal. It doesn't show any units. At this time, again, I do know that they are truly inches, but it doesn't show inches, feet, centimeters, millimeters, or anything. And again, it is 4 decimal places. Likewise, if I use, let's say, the measure tool, whether it be angle or any of these, I'll just do the distance, and I go from here to here. Up here on the dynamic display, 4 decimal places. Here on the pop-up, 4 decimal places. Down on my command line, not only for here, but as I do, let's say, fillet or offset or whatever it may be, and it gives me current settings. In this case, they are now 4 decimal places. Likewise, if I am drawing a line, since my dynamic display is often showing me polar coordinates currently, I see both on the length and the angle 4 decimal places. So this is where that precision is going to come into play, where again, if I really want to see some precision, especially if I am drawing something that requires a higher precision, or the units that it is given to me are multiple decimal places, then I'm definitely going to want to set my units accordingly to at least match that, if not be more precise. So that kind of gives me an idea of where it's at. Also with this, and this is why I had you on the precision change the angle, if I were to draw a line, at that and 0.00000001. Okay. This appears to be horizontal. I know it's not because I just typed it in. It is multiple decimal places down, maybe millionths or 100 millionths of a degree off. It is slightly rotated, but so even though that is so small, in a way it doesn't matter. Now that's not what I would want if I were truly drawing it. I'd want it to be horizontal. But in this case, again, this shows at 0 degrees to at least 4 decimal places that it is to that accuracy, that level of accuracy being rounded off. It is still showing up as 0. Again, hopefully you wouldn't do that as a typed in 0.000 multiple zeros and 1, but again, that to me is a little bit more precise. For example, this one here, I thought that was 10 degrees. Normally it would have shown up as 10 degrees, but you see actually it is 9.7769, and this actually continues somewhere because I didn't type it in, I just drew it randomly. So that is where that precision comes into play for units. Again, I have multiple things. I have an arc. Again, I have different information: start angle, end angle, the area that would be consumed if there were a line to draw back inside of it. Same with the circle. There are centers instead of a start and end. Circumference, the radius, the diameter. And again, you can click here just like we do double click editing. You can click here and change some of the information you want. Every item gives a little bit of a little bit different information. For example, the text. I now have text with certain things. Here's some justification. I touched on that previously. Top right, middle center, bottom, so on and so forth. I also have the text height. No, I wanted it to be 3 and enter, and there it's larger. Again, a lot of the same general information. Geometry, its position, where it exists. That would be most likely this blue little grip here. So on and so forth. A lot of good information. A lot of good information. Now up here, for example, I have I just made a whole bunch of copies, made a mess. I'm going to select everything. Now, a lot of times, if something's blank, or in this case, it's just not going to give it to me, it's because there's so many different things, different types of properties available. It's going to be real hard to give me both the start and end of this line as well as all the center points positions for the circle. Don't really want that kind of a properties window, but what is nice here, what all do I have? Well, in this case, I know I have a circle, and I mentioned it shows it right here. And if I have, in this case, 2 circles, and notice I can keep selecting, I have 6 circles. So, excuse me, not only does this help, it gives me a quick count how many items I have. In this case, I have more than just circles. Notice it says all, 19 items. Drop it down, I have 1 line, I have 1 thing of text, I have 14 circles, 1 arc, and 2 polylines. So again, real nice. Now, if I click there, I'm selecting just the 14 circles. If I click here, I have information just on the 2 polylines, just on the 1 line. Again, back to the start, end, delta, length, and angle. So again, very useful information, but not only to edit or to mess with all these items, but just to acquire information about the objects you're drawing. Very, very useful to have this window open. And again, I recommend having it, especially for a single monitor system. Have it open and have it as auto hide. And again, you need it, just hover over it, and you're done selecting these, and I'm back to the original setting. So that's all for properties. I'll do another video for the line weights and line types and colors.